Hi there, Diva fans. Welcome to our discussion panel to celebrate Lesbian Visibility Week 2022. This panel is a collaboration between Greene King and Diva. I'll be your host today. My name's Sam. My pronouns are she, her, and I've worked for Greene King for 4 years now. My passion is pubs, and when Diva asked me to host a panel all about Greene King and the progress we're making to ensure our pubs and our business are more inclusive, I jumped at the opportunity. Pubs can be a particularly passionate topic. Greene King wants their pubs to lead the way as an inclusive pub company that caters to a diverse customer base. Greene King are proud to support Lesbian Visibility Week, and this panel event will discuss what Greene King are doing to break the bias, how the industry has changed over the recent years, and what they're doing to make their space welcoming to the lesbian community. Greene King is one of the largest pub companies and breweries operating in the UK. It's striving to be an inclusive and diverse business in a hospitality sector that can sometimes be seen as exclusive or even unwelcoming. To discuss the changes that Greene King are making, why and how they're supporting Lesbian Visibility Week, and what this means for Greene King's employees, we have a fantastic panel lined up to share their thoughts with you today. I'd like to introduce you to Muna, if you'd like to just let the panel know a little bit about yourself.
Hi there, I'm Muna. My pronouns are she and her. I've been with Greene King just over 11 years, and I'm a publican. And big fan of Diva as well.
Fantastic. And Karen, if you'd like to just introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Karen Boescher. I'm she, her too, and I'm Managing Director at Greene King for Premium Urban and Venture Brands. Been here just over 9 years, and I'm the lead sponsor for Village Green, which is our ELG group that represents the LGBTQI plus community at Greene King.
Fantastic. Thanks, Karen. And my last but by no means least, Linda, would you like to introduce everyone to yourself?
Yeah, my name's Linda Riley. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the publisher of Diva magazine, and I'm also the founder of Lesbian Visibility Week.
Fantastic. Well, let's get cracking then. Let's get right into it and ask some really important questions. Try and delve into this really important relationship between the Lesbian Visibility Week, the community, and our pubs. Muna, you've been a publican since 2016 and have been in the industry itself for over 20 years. Have you seen the industry change in regards to the LGBTQ plus community, and how have you seen it?
Massively. From somebody that the first venue she went to when coming out was a gay venue. It was very limited. I came from a small little town, small, Sheffield, and the venues were very limited. Before what we have now, you had pre-drinks at home and then straight to the exclusive gay venue because nowhere else felt really safe. Nowhere else seemed very welcoming for myself or other LGBTQI members. So in the last 20 years and working within the industry, I've seen more and more safer spaces. And I think Greene King is one of the main reasons as well. This is as an example, since Karen joined us, like I said, she took a main lead within the LGBT community, and as Greene King, we managed to launch Village Green, which I don't think many pub brewery company have. And I've seen a massive growth. I felt that we have more safe spaces and we're not limited anymore to just that one single gay bar in town. So yeah, I'm a massive growth and something I'm really happy to be part of.
Fantastic. Karen, have you noticed a similar change in the industry?
Yeah, I think it's coming, but it's been slow progress, and it has been through activities like this that we've really been able to accelerate people's conscious awareness of behavior, because I think there's a massive appetite for doing the right thing, and we've certainly got we've now got a big inclusion agenda at Greene King, which is a combination of recognizing people's diversity, that we're all different in some way or another, but giving people a sense of belonging is really important. And what I noticed all those years ago when we started, and I worked, very heavily with Muna at a venue, people didn't feel that they belonged. They were happy to be at Greene King. They didn't necessarily suffer overt prejudice, but they didn't feel this sense of belonging because there wasn't that much recognition for their diversity and their differences. So, I think that's massively important, that if you get those two things right, then you start to create an environment which is properly inclusive for our teams. And that's in the context of our purpose around we pour happiness into lives, because, you know, we all spend so much time at work that if we can't get that inclusion dial right for every single person that works with us, how on earth can they possibly feel that we are pouring happiness for them as individuals and as communities? So, you know, that's kind of where it's all driven from. And I think as we go forward and as things have matured a bit, you know, we're seeing commercial benefit from this approach. So, you know, we want more customers to come into pubs, and we want those pubs to reflect modern society. So there's a real commercial benefit to being a more inclusive pub environment. And also, as things tighten up in the employment market, why not be seen as really welcoming for much more diverse pools of society that they feel they can come, work and belong at Greene King or in the pub and hospitality market. So, you know, there's such a richness and an additive value, and everybody that I've seen that's come from the gay community brings so much into the hospitality environment. Just feels like a really great thing for us to do.
And I think there's that historical link as well, isn't there, between LGBTQ plus communities and pubs and bars and those places where maybe if they couldn't feel safe at home or with their families historically, there was always somewhere where they could go. Linda, as a lesbian, how important is it to you that venues are fully inclusive, that you feel safe in spaces?
Yeah, it's really important. I mean, I'm a butch presenting lesbian, and I can't tell you the amount of problems I've had in the past, you know, going into pubs, you know, lesbophobic abuse, and also not being supported by the staff of that pub, you know, when I've complained, for example, and to see what Greene King are doing and to hear the staff speak, it just makes me feel safe. If I see a Greene King sign now, I'd be more inclined to go in, because I'm not saying it, you know, homophobia is completely wiped out, but I feel safe enough that if I complained, that my complaints would be taken seriously. And that's a big thing for somebody, you know, to feel safe.
Definitely. Muna, is that something you find as someone physically on the shop floor, as it were, in a pub? Is this something that you're letting your staff know about how to deal with these kind of complaints or issues should they arise?
Yeah, I mean, obviously having Village Green, and there is part, you know, it's one big column of Greene King, which I make sure my team is aware of it. I think my team are comfortable to challenge any form of discrimination, biasm. Like a butch lesbian myself, you know, there's been a few venues I've been where I was told, you know, you shouldn't be in these toilets. And that's why we make sure that myself and my team provide a safe environment, especially toilets. It's kind of hidden away from the bar, because whatever's happening on the bar, you kind of see it and react to it. And that's why it's a big thing for us. You know, I make sure that we have the Ask Angela. We have a toilet that's welcoming to our trans sisters. As I said, it's another big topic. You know, there are plenty of lesbian trans within our community, and it's our job to protect them and make them feel safe. My team changed one of our posts. Instead of ask Angela, say ask for Muna, and they know straight away what's going on. So they're like, oh, okay, you need to see Angela. Okay, Muna's coming. And this is all thanks to what Greene King has done recently. I'm saying this is a big fan of and an employee of Greene King. I think this wasn't there before 9 years ago. This wasn't there. You know, some stuff happened. People question themselves whether to react. But now it's, you know, we have people from all backgrounds of LGBTQI family coming in, and there's a smile on my team's face. You know, we have our flags, something that maybe if I was managing a pub 10 years ago, I wouldn't have put up. Now I put up because, you know, I think I'm given the opportunity to be my true self at work and invite more people within our community. And many people stop by our venue because they're like, oh, I've drove past, I saw the flag, it called to me. I've been living around here for 10 years, it called to me. And to see our diverse team, you know, I've had people applying for jobs because they were working down the road and they didn't feel safe, maybe with another, competitor, or felt like their employee cared. They said, oh, I work in a pub around the corner and I saw this flag. Are you looking for staff? Because I like to be part of this. That means a lot. And I think, you know, this is a big thing we're doing, and it's just amazing to be part of it. That's all.
And I guess it's those small authentic changes, isn't it, as well? It's those things that build up over time. And like you said, just having a flag, you can call to someone, and it's lots of small changes, I think, definitely. Karen, question for you. As part of International Women's Day, Greene King Urban Pubs made the decision to break the bias and show all women's Super League football matches in their pubs. That's quite a bold decision. What drove that?
Well, I'm a big fan of football and sport, and clearly Greene King are a massive player in terms of the out-of-home sports viewing market. So we had a real opportunity to take a bit of a leadership position on the growing appetite for watching women's sport in pubs, and clearly football's been on a real front foot with that. There's growing appetite for watching women play sport in pubs, but the football team have generated so much success, and we certainly saw in 2019 that the England team getting so far, much further than their male counterparts in the fixture. Actually, the viewing figures for some of those matches went ahead of some of the viewing figures for the male England team. So we saw bigger upticks commercially in the pub for those events. So what it showed was that irrespective of whether there were men or women playing football, people just wanted to see England win on those occasions, and that gave us a bit more confidence that we could push a bit harder. We had done a campaign at that point with BT and the Red Roses and showing fixtures, but we thought, we need to be even bolder now on the next event, claim a market leading position on that, and Ban the Bias gave us an opportunity to really put some framework around that, and it was a really gentle call to action really from the players to say, will you support our campaign? And it just showed how phenomenal they are. They came out for us and supported the campaign, did talk radio event up in Liverpool, which went down really well. And again, this is all about the future of what pub occasionality might look like. It's not necessarily massive for us now, but I think the amount of money going into the women's game is indicative of the appetite for the future. We've got a great growing fraternity of pub followership for that agenda. We're being also sponsored and supported with Fanzo, who have got a really good following for the female game as well, and they can do a lot of commercial call outs for us. So it makes good business sense, but actually I think it's about having much more inclusive environments. And then I think when you get onto the more mainframe football occasions now, I think what we're showing up as then is a more balanced group of people that we expect to see more women in pubs watching mainstream football as well. That gone are the days where this is a lad culture draft driven occasion. We want to see much more inclusivity and people happy to come into the pubs to watch the game, feel safe to do so. So by balancing ourselves the other way, hopefully we'll find happiness right in the middle there, where everybody will feel they can come along to a football match. Because one of the things we know as well about the lesbian fraternity is they do want safe spaces, but they want much more inclusivity probably than gay men. Gay men tend to seek out more socially exclusive spaces. But what we've had when we've done our research and feedback, lesbian women are saying to us, we just want to come to the pub and feel okay. We want to mix. We want to be part of the big gig. So please make it okay for us to do so. So that's what we're trying to lean towards, is that women showing up and being part of that occasion, women who like to watch football, men and women, will feel very, very happy and safe to do so in our pubs. And our managers know how to deal with that too.
Linda, as a potential pub customer, is that the kind of thing that might encourage you to visit a Greene King pub, with the showing of women's sport and that kind of concentration on safer spaces, more inclusive spaces?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mentioned that earlier. That is the number one issue for me. The number one issue is it's a safe space, and number two, it is if there's something there that I want to watch, I want to be able to feel just free, the freedom to walk in and know that I'm not going to be challenged. As you said, Muna, just simple things like going to the toilet becomes horrendous a deal. If you look visibly lesbian, you're always worried that you'll be challenged, you'll be stopped. And all you want to do is just feel safe. We don't particularly want a separatist life when you're a lesbian. You just want to do humdrum things like go to the pub and watch football, and watching the women's sport as well is just fantastic. you know, what I will say is that, you know, if other breweries are watching and they're looking in at what Greene King, you're truly setting the benchmark for what you're doing. So you're you're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk. So you know, I think it's fantastic. But basically, in answer to your question, I just want to feel safe, and
Of course.
I feel that what you're doing at Greene King, with all that you're saying, would encourage me. If I see a Greene King sign outside, I'm feeling that that's a safe space to go into, and I think a lot of other people are too.
And Muna, does your pub show live sport? Has this women's football had an impact on your business?
I mean, it's starting to. Obviously, we managed to show the BBC ones, BBC iPlayer ones. I'm a big football fan. I love both male and female football. So, I mean, it's amazing. Like I said, I'm very proud of Greene King to come up with this plan. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we'll have a lot of people following us in the future. It's always good to lead the way. You know, it's exciting. You know, we get a lot more, even during the Euros, we've noticed more female customers who have a different like of the drink packaging that they're going for. We get a more female sports team who play locally amongst themselves, who are coming into our pubs after their games. And I just say something, you know, and wondering, oh, you're showing this game, you're showing that. Like you said, like Linda said, you go to a pub, apart from feeling safe, you want somewhere that you think, okay, can I watch this game here? Obviously, it's a big investment from Greene King, and it's a good risk. It's good to be risk takers, you know. But yeah, it will have a massive impact. We've already got a lot of football fans, a lot of female football fans. I'm one of them. And I think, you know, the Women's World Cup is going to be amazing. I'm going to get some tickets as well. But if I can't get tickets, I'll be watching it in a Greene King pub. So that's my thing.
Fantastic. And now, this is something I'm particularly excited about. As part of Lesbian Visibility Week this year, Greene King are flying the lesbian pride flag over the brewery in Bury St Edmunds for the first time. Now, Karen, what has driven a business the size of Greene King's with a historical brewery in Bury St Edmunds? What has driven this level of support for the lesbian community?
Well, if you're ever going to, you know, sort of shake the foundations of hefty institutions, putting this flag above this brewery is particularly significant. This is a building that's been there for hundreds of years. And Sam, you're not taking enough credit here because you've really... Look at her. Look, this is absolutely down to you and your sort of push. And all I had to keep doing was going, yeah, this is the right thing to do. If anybody asked me, I was going, yeah, this is the right thing to do. And it was great this morning because I watched my colleagues on the board and said, if you're up the brewery this week, look above you because the lesbian flag is flying high for Greene King this week. It's Lesbian Visibility Week. So, you know, it's a big statement because our flag, it doesn't change that often above the brewery and people will notice it. Yeah. So it is about visibility, right? You know, this is Linda's mandate. And I've been so inspired by her and a couple of other people in the community that reached out to me very early when I was on this journey about, you know, what we might do around inclusion before inclusion really at Greene King was a thing. And I was trying to educate myself really. And what they said to me is, you know, more probably than a lot of the rest of the gay community, you know, lesbians were really struggling to get recognition for their history, for the strong contribution they've made to equal rights in the UK. Linda's been a massive part of that, you know, not having identified social spaces, not getting recognition for the role they've played in you know, that whole history of equal rights. And you know, my job is a fairly easy one because, you know, I'm in a position where I can make a difference to that. So then I'm surrounded by amazing people from the community that then just, you know, all they've got to do is be given the right conditions and the signals to say, yes, it's okay to do stuff. And people like Muna and yourself and lots of other people then just go, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do that? It's not a permission-based thing anymore. They now tell me we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And that, you know, that's fantastic. So I can't underestimate, none of us can underestimate the significance of putting that flag up there today. That the next step is Buckingham Palace, right? We've got to get it above Buckingham Palace. I think that might be our next step. But in all seriousness, it is about proper visibility for the lesbian queer women of this country that are so phenomenal, make such a massive contribution to society, lot of which goes unchecked. And it's just an absolute pleasure to be in a position that we at Greene King, you, Sam, you, have managed to put this flag above this old building and demonstrate most overtly what we're about. So, you know, well done you.
No, thank you very much, Karen. No, I can't say as well how when we first kind of came up with this idea when we were kind of brainstorming a few months ago, how easy different people within Greene King have made it to get that flag up there. I thought it would have to be a lot of emails, a lot of favors called in and things like that. You would not believe the level of support from people very, very high up at Greene King that were emailing me just to say, this is a great idea. This is a brilliant idea. Yes, let's do it. There was absolutely no barriers, no obstacles put in place. No, someone might be on holiday. Someone might be doing this. Not at all.
We need the photograph though. Once it's up there, I'm not going to be able to
yes,
get
definitely
this week. So,
Muna, like I've just said, obviously it means a huge amount to me. What does it mean for you as an employee of Greene King to know that there's a brewery or flagship building that's got the lesbian pride flag outside it this week?
Yeah, I mean, I'm extremely proud that, like you said, I think working for Greene King and knowing that flag is out there after so many years, I'm very, very proud. I think it's a true statement of what Greene King wants to do. Like I said, this journey started 9 years ago with Karen, and I worked with Greene King a bit longer, and I would never thought that would have ever happened, even the slightest. And it just shows as well how Greene King is not one of those many companies who just jump on the wagon about pride, which I'm sure we're going to see all summer. It's something that frustrates me. A lot of people market just to get something out of it. And many companies are not celebrating Lesbian Visibility Week this week. Greene King is, to the highest level of putting that flag out there. It means a lot. And I think the consistency of this company just makes me more proud than I have ever been. So yeah, thank you.
That's wicked to hear. That's really nice to hear. Now, Linda, given that you only started Lesbian Visibility Week 2 years ago, and there's been a global pandemic in between those 2 years, did you ever expect to get this level of commitment and visibility from a huge company like Greene King?
Actually, no. It was a kind of pipe dream, obviously, but no. And I can't actually believe it still when I see stories like this of flying the flag. By the way, please do send me a picture because Diva would love to cover that because, as many lesbian flags as we can see flying, we like to promote that. But no, I didn't think. And it didn't surprise me when Greene King came on board because they've always, we've worked with them previously on Pride in London events. So obviously the history of Greene King as well, there's one of your pubs is a traditional gay men's pub, the Quebec Arms in Quebec Street, and probably before there were any other gay pubs. So they've got a great history. But actually talk about, just to be able to come to Karen and talk about the niche within a niche, if you like, and to get that support is pretty phenomenal, especially within the first 2 years. So we are delighted. But the one thing that I would say is so many lesbians that I speak to, they don't actually know what the lesbian flag looks like or didn't 2 years ago, but that's changed now. So many people on social media during Lesbian Visibility Week update their profile pictures to the colour of the lesbian flag. So there's lots going out of it. And one thing that I would say, and we'll talk about, is that when employees from Greene King, for example, see this panel, one thing I can say for sure, if they were at all worried about coming out, because people still are really worried, stuff like this, it really helps, and just thinks, wow, this is it's okay to be out at work, and that's the one big message it will send to people as well.
Definitely. I think, I think I've worked for Greene King for 4 years now, and I've never felt ever like I didn't have to be my authentic self. Now, obviously, that's something that I have that someone in Muna's position might not always have. I very much work in an office. I think that gives you an extra level of safety sometimes, especially for Muna at pub level. I completely understand why some people might not feel comfortable being their true authentic selves at work, and I can't imagine what that feeling would be like. So I think Greene King are definitely taking strides in the right direction. I think if there's anyone watching this, if there's any women out there who work for Greene King who aren't sure of whether they can come out of work, I'd say, come on in. The water's warm. We need more. Come on. So one final question to wrap up then. And it's a question for all three of you, but feel free to take time and comment on others and everything like that. What do you think, so from each of your very individual perspectives, what do you think pubs could do to make the lesbian community feel more welcome? Muna, we'll start with you.
As I said, we're doing a great job as it is, but it needs to be spread out to all our venues. Like Karen said, there are some excellent managers who, live and breathe this. And I think Central London for us might be a little bit easier, very inclusive. We are a mix of everything. And that's the beauty of a capital city. So I think it's this message across the country. Greene King is a massive pub brewery company. We have a lot of pubs. And if we all breathe and live the same values, this is one of them. I think, this first step is the women's football that we've got. I think Ask Angela is now probably in 78% of the venues. I think more and more pubs will have that. Toilets, I think, has always been a big issue, and having that safeness in toilets, and especially for, like I said, and I will. This is my year. My work is for the trans sisters, making sure that we are doing more work around them, and any women that's coming in our venues, the understanding. Like I said, Karen said, we are educating ourselves still on a daily basis. I don't think we know everything, and having that celebration, a regular celebration. I don't think this will be the second, the third, or the last Lesbian Visibility Week Greene King will celebrate. It's continuity. It's showing that it's, we're not just jumping on the wagon, but it actually means a lot to us. I think pretty much what Greene King is doing right now and more, just across it, because like you said, like Linda said, I feel like all our team are very comfortable coming out. In the 4 years I've been here, I think I've had over 6 members of staff come out who probably joined us because they wanted somewhere safe to come out. And Greene King has offered that. And I think it's amazing what we're doing already with our training when we're hiring new people to inform them of what the company stands for and what the company is willing to accept, and celebration, regular celebration, not just Pride, like you said, Lesbian Visibility Week, that continuity. So I think doing what we're doing, but more and better.
Definitely. Linda, as the pub goer, what can pubs do to make the lesbian community feel more welcome?
Well, they could fly the lesbian flag all year round. Always like to see that. But I think Mune as well, you hit the nail on the head as well, is probably in London, there is more diversity. But if I say I'm in Cornwall, and I don't want to single out places, and I'll say anywhere, that's not so diverse. I would really like to see, when I walk into a pub, like a big signal that there's safety around, like, a notice on the wall or Greene King poster basically saying zero tolerance for racism, homophobia, lesbophobia, and to know that, if anything did happen to me, that, that I did get some sort of abuse, and I don't have to be forced to maybe pull out my birth certificate to prove I'm a woman to go to the toilet, but to know that there's going to be an understanding by the manager of that pub, and to be able to point to that poster and just go, look, you've said zero tolerance. I've been abused. What are you going to do about it? Do you know what I mean? And that's just basic human rights, and that's what I'd like to see in an ideal world, to feel it's almost signaling, this place is diversity aware, and we have zero tolerance policies. And to see that loud and clear, it not just sends the messages to me, it also sends a message to the possible people that might speak out, and let them realize that their language is not tolerated in a Greene King pub.
Definitely. And Karen, from your perspective, as on a very macro level of seeing all of these pubs, that you visit and have a vested interest in, what do you think pubs, just pubs in general, but Greene King pubs, can do more to celebrate and support the lesbian community?
Well, I think we're on the right road, but it's it's absolutely right. We are at the start of that journey. In no way would I profess that if you went into all Greene King pubs, you're going to get the same level of response. And I think until we're in all four corners of the earth, in Greene King earth, and you feel that when you walk in, you feel very comfortable that this is an inclusive environment for whether you're black, straight, woman, gay, whatever, that you can walk in. I don't think we've really cracked this idea of an inclusive pub environment. So we've got a lot of work to do to get there. And I think, it's really important that on these special weeks, events, days, we do call out and support those various niche causes as they're seen, so that actually the build of all of that adds up to, we're about inclusivity. I think it's very important at the top of organisations that everybody, not just myself representing Village Green, but all the board directors, we've all got sponsorship leads for ELGs. And I'm hoping that gives the managers the confidence, as Moon has described really eloquently, the feeling that when they're in a situation that Linda's described and they've got to come to a judgment call, they kind of know the way we would want them to fall on these things. And that then, if that basic education about how to deal with those conflicts and queries and things that inevitably come up when you're dealing with an environment which has got lots of different people in it and a bit of alcohol, let's not that can't go unrecognized. People's feelings sometimes come out not always in the right way, that they feel confident to deal with it and they've got strategies to deal with it. And I think then, if we've got our recruitment policies right and we are doing a good job there, then those teams should reflect the communities in which they serve. So we should see a really diverse representation of society working behind the bar, serving tables, doing pot washes, clearing away. Because when a pub reflects the best of our diversity, then inevitably people from diverse communities come to those places because they go, actually, they employ people like me, they understand people like me, and therefore this is a place for people like me. And therefore, I think the more diverse a recruitment strategy we can have, the more inclusivity we give to that, and that people, when they walk in, I think people should see, if they're pictures or assets or advertising for the businesses, you should see a diverse range of people represented in those. And that's your world, Sam, right, in terms of trying to make sure that the assets in the business, the digital assets that go out, represents all parts of our society, so that again you see people like you working in those pubs represented in terms of the images we put in front of people that say this is about us. Then I think we stand a chance of creating a pub that pub company we're really proud of. And when we talk about pouring happiness into lives, it's a meaningful strategy for the organisation that then our customers feel when they come in and they're having a good time in our businesses.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think that's a bit of a watch this space for Greene King. Hopefully coming up will be how we start to use images and assets to reflect our team members, but also our customer base a bit more. I think what we're trying to understand is that images, they're so much more visceral sometimes, rather than saying we're an inclusive business. Sometimes all it takes is one image outside of a pub, one image of a group watching football on a poster for people to suddenly see themselves. I think
that's
sometimes
right.
without almost saying, there'll be nothing stranger than a pub going, this is a woman-friendly showing of the football. That feels a bit strange. Is it not normally woman-friendly?
We need to show women drinking pints of beer, right?
Exactly.
Which,
yeah.
if I go back 9 years ago, we used to have pictures of women drinking beer in wine glasses and all this kind of stuff. It was all very bizarre. It is an honest thing to say women stand in pubs and drink pints of beer. That's okay. So that needs to show up a bit. Women in football shirts, that's fine, right?
Definitely.
So we need to bring that through in terms of how we have those conversations.
And as I'm looking personally within my day job, as I'm looking at banks of images of different people and trying to ask design agencies to find the most diverse groups possible, what's sad is those images don't really exist at the moment. These big photography companies aren't creating those images. So then, and it's absolutely fine. But then again, like Linda was saying earlier, it's down to us. We have to pioneer those images. We have to get those people in pubs taking photographs, and then they become Greene King stock images that can be used across the business. And I think that's really important. Definitely. I think that's my next big challenge coming up for the rest of the year, definitely. Right, guys. So I could talk to the three of you all morning about this kind of stuff, but I think it's time to wrap up now. Thank you so much for talking to me today. The three of you as well, you've been amazing and offer three very different perspectives, I think, on this. So it's been fascinating to speak to you all. What I'd like to just finish off on is to say how proud I am of Greene King as a business. I know we're not quite there yet, but I'm really proud of the progress that we're making. And I think Lesbian Visibility Week, like we said, it's about visibility. So even just doing a panel like this, so thank you so much for giving me a bit of your time this morning to talk about it. I think it's so important that when the lesbian community hears and starts to see Greene King, they know about the progress we're making. So thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.